Cricket et al. It's a website. It's a podcast.
Pete, it's a way of life. It's Gideon over here.
Peter Lawler, live and exclusive for Cricket et al. Over here in Gaul on day 3 of the second test match.
And welcome to Cricket et al., your independent cricket podcast. This test match is racing away, Pete. At the close of play, Sri Lanka 8 for 211. The lead of 54. I guess there's one day to go, one way or the other. And I guess Australia now in the box seat as a result of what happened in the last 20 minutes or so. But at various stages during the afternoon, it looked like Sri Lanka was providing some pretty staunch opposition. And there was the possibility of a 150 chase, which would have been a little bit awkward on this pitch.
Yeah, exactly, Gideon. Exactly. I mean, they they lost a few early wickets, but then Angelo Matthews dug in. Obviously, it's interesting batting here, and I've made this observation in the piece today that in Australia and South Africa and England and those sorts of places, or outside the subcontinent, the new ball is a tool for the seamers and does its damage. Then in the early overs, over here, the new ball does damage for the spinners, and there's a reason for that, of course, because the seeds, when the seam is proud, it grips for some balls, and when the surface is shiny, it skims like a stone off the wicket. And we saw a number of dismissals like that, but of course, the ball started to grow a little bit older in the afternoon, and Matthews batted pretty well despite some good bowling and catching from the Australians. They have been such an outstanding team over here, Gideon. We're not quite finished the 2 tests, but everything they've done has been rather impressive. I'm going to cough. Hang on.
Patient, resourceful, adaptable, determined. I think, the infusion of a little bit of new blood has made a difference. I think Matthew Kuhneman coming into this series has been a fortuitous pick. Of course, he almost didn't make it, but he's ended up, I think he's got 16 wickets now and picked up that last one tonight, which was so important. And Australia, obviously, the left-arm spinner on pitches like this is absolutely essential, and Kuhneman would be, almost your first man picked, wouldn't he, in these conditions?
Yeah, well, he's picked up 4 for 52 thus far. He bowled very well, opened the bowling, and he's suited to these conditions. As we say, he gets that ball to slide through, and alarmingly. You mentioned Webster. Cricket et al. Was down last night in Watuna Beach and saw this man loping through the coconut trees, his head as high as the coconuts.
I can imagine him loping. He's got a natural lope, doesn't he?
He does lope. It's an elegant lope, though. I mean, he's not an awkward or gawky guy.
No.
His incredible length. And we went over to have a bit of, just to say, I don't think we've actually met, and shook his hand. Now, I have never felt such an embrace. It wasn't one of those angry Donald Trump politician, Ron Brassey, Ted Whitten, crush your hand embraces. It's a big, soft, gentle grip. And he's got great catching hands. So, and the reason I mention this is because he took a really good catch to actually get Australia sort of to re-spark Australia's effort.
He's picked up Matthews. That's an absolutely vital one, wasn't it? And it was an awkward catch, having to run around a backward square leg. Now, you wouldn't have been expecting a catch like that. He hasn't dropped one so far in Test cricket, and he doesn't look like he's ever going to drop one, does he? He's got they settle in like into a baseball mitt.
They do. And look, and what I liked about this moment, one wicket brings another. Smith is an intelligent captain. He hadn't thrown him the ball until then, but I think he sensed the moment, so he brought him on, and hey presto, he picks up Ramesh Mendis for a duck in the 5th or 6th delivery. I think it was the 5th delivery. He's over. By that stage, I was typing furiously. And that rounded out what had been a pretty impressive effort from him all day, actually, because as when Australia resumed in the morning back on that new ball jag I was talking about, Smith was gone pretty quickly for 131. Alex Carey passed the 150 mark, but then he was gone. And look, Josh Inglis was done for a duck. Cooper Connolly, and not a very good innings, out for 4. Starc for 8, Lyon for 2, Kuhnemann for 6. But the one resistance there was Beau Webster, who it was a gritty 31, and it helped Australia. That was important to get that lead up over 150, because you just needed some clear air on these Sri Lankans, and it was and we saw the importance of it when Matthews made that 76. I'm not sure what the lead is now. Hang on,
it's 54.
Let me see. 54.
It's 54. Yeah. Look, it was it was a retreat, but it was an orderly retreat. It wasn't. Sometimes the teams get run on in this condition. I think Australia lost 7 for 64, but that can happen. It's obviously it's once you're in here, it can be quite hard to shift you. And Smith and Carey have put on 259 and 358 balls, but once one does genuinely bring 2, and in 2 brought 7 today. But Webster did play well, and he got a very good delivery to get out. You won't get many better balls than that, bowled through the gate by Mendes. It spun sharply, and just in that sort of blind spot of the batsman pushing forward.
Yeah, that was a ripper. There was some very good, and that morning session with the new ball, you thought, gee, boy, oh boy, this wicket, we'll be out of here today, and that thought was renewed when the Australian spinners took the new ball.
What are they using, Pete? What are they using? What balls are they using in this series?
Damn, can I take that question on notice?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I'll find out. Yeah,
I'm not sure if they're a Kookaburra country or an SG, or I don't think they'd be Dukes, but they might be SG.
They might be, yeah. So it looked like this game was going to be over today, and I think it was. Which break was it? I think at the tea break, there was a lot. Oh no, actually, it was at the innings break. There were confident predictions from people that Sri Lanka would be rock and roll for 30, and we'd all be going to the beach.
Rebooking flights, people planning golf.
All of that, all of the above. In fact, book flights were being rearranged. Others, not so much golf. I think Simon Kadich was going to go up to Colombo and watch the local big rugby union grudge match between Candy and whoever the other mob is.
Yep.
It's funny sports in this country, isn't it? It's a little bit English with this love of rugby union and it's this other game that we're watching right now, cricket.
Someone told me recently that volleyball is the national sport of Sri Lanka.
Is it really?
It came up as a question at our trivia night. Right. So, of course, a lot of people went for cricket, but the Yarra's trivia night, I learned that volleyball is the national sport of Sri Lanka.
Now, I think I have this vague memory that up by the Gore Fort Hotel on the which is, of course, in Colombo, and they have the seafront there. I think I have seen a lot of volleyball games.
Yeah,
taking place.
Right.
Well, there you go. I'll go up and check it out.
There must be historical reasons for that. Yeah.
It's we should ask somebody who knows.
And it did look. It did look early on as though. Yeah. Let's do that. When the ball is hard and the ball is spinning and the seam is proud, as you say, there was Australia did look very threatening in that early part of the innings. We said farewell to Dinesh Karunaratne in his 100th test.
Marked his 100th test, and it was quite an emotional farewell, actually.
It was an emotional farewell. It was nice to see the Australians applauding him all the way off. He's never made all that many runs against Australians, but if you play 100 test matches, you're a test cricketer of significance. Yeah,
well, they'd actually formed, as I said, the kids and his own side had formed a guard of honour for him to walk on the ground for his first innings. There'd been a ceremony there, but the Australians had gathered ahead of the wicket and done similar. They did that there, but we saw Karunaratne speak slowly, Peter, dismissed for 14. But when he was dismissed, he embraced Dinesh Chandimal out on house near the pitch, and then encountered Angelo Matthews at the rope, and they had another similar prolonged embrace.
Nice.
Yeah. I've written in a piece today about another 100th anniversary that was celebrated today in the press box. It was the scorer's 100th birthday, Gideon. I wish you'd been here.
His 100th birthday.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm tired. Yes. Well done. It was his 100th match as a scorer.
Okay.
100th test match as a scorer. So they do felicitations pretty well here. It was in the tea break. We had speeches. There were 2 cakes.
Was he felicitated, Pete? I love it when they felicitate.
It was felicitated. I have used that word in my account of it. Shara Kuray is the chap's name. He wears a boater hat. He's splendid. I've got some photographs of him in my report. It was an extended felicitation. He was presented with a trophy, a plaque, 2 specially designed cakes. One splendid cake, a big green double-decker affair with wickets on it, and on top of the double-decker green layers of cake is a red cricket ball and a sign that says 100th Test. He was also given a T-shirt, a mini bat autographed by the team, and a small gift. So that
is splendid. Did you introduce him to our new man?
Well,
the rising star.
Thomas doesn't have a press pass. Gideon. Thomas is working in the stinking heat over there in the municipality stand, which makes his efforts all the more admirable. Because he will be dripping with sweat while poring over all those charts and wagon wheels and dots and things. I mean, and he's done a beautifully neat job today. I love the fact that he includes statistics when he does it.
Yeah. Quite like Bill Frindle, actually. If you look at those old Bill Frindle scorecards, he always used to toss in a selection of judiciously chosen records. And the other thing that Bill Frindle used to do was he used to write a description of the dismissal.
Right.
Yeah, bowled by back break or brilliant catch in the gully.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think that if Thomas added that, he might be undermining us? He might be mowing our grass.
He might be. That's right. But look, I look there, and he's got Carey's first test and first class 150, highest score by an Australian creeper in Sri Lanka, beating the 144, which Gilchrist scored here, and was it in Bangladesh?
He scored twice.
Yeah,
he did twice, didn't he?
But not here. But the first one was here, and the other one was in Bangladesh. He said Smith has the most test runs in Asia for an Australian. What else can I see there?
Did he notice the Steve Smith double century partnership record today?
Well,
he's had double century partnerships with 11 different players, which is a record.
Indeed. You clearly haven't read my match report yet, because that's included there. Do you want me to run you through all of that?
Well, I think it apparently seems to have popped up on Twitter with your favourite Twitter scorer, Sir Swamp Thing.
Yeah, so Swamp Thing's Twitter account has put it out. It's good to filch these things. It's okay to filch them, isn't it? It is.
There's no copyright on a statistic.
No, well, there is on the graphic, but I just can't. And it's an impressive sort of list to look at.
It's a great one,
The first one dates, and well done, Swamp. It dates back to 2013. Was his first with Michael Clarke in England. You remember that one? Then 2 years later, he did it against England. Sorry. Then 2 years later, he did it with Chris Rogers. Then he did it with Adam Voges. He did Sean Marsh. He did it.
2 with Sean Marsh.
He did 2 with Adam Voges, 2 with Sean Marsh, 1 with Joe Burns in 2016, 1 with Mitch Marsh. So he's shared the love around the Marsh family. He's only done 1 with Marnus. So Marnus is going to have his nose out of joint that he's doing it all these other blokes. He's done 1 with Davey in South Africa, of course. In South Africa. He's done 2 with Travis Head.
2 with Eddie.
And he's done
back-to-back tests, I think.
Yeah, and then 2 with Usman Khawaja against here and obviously in South Africa, and then 1 with and the Alex Carey one. So that spans 12 years. You know,
so Swamp Thing's not Jeff Marsh, is he?
It's funny you should mention that. I'm catching up. I sat with Jeff yesterday, and we're going to do a function tomorrow for the tour group.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Things. Yeah, I really like Jeff. He's good people, Jeff Marsh.
Good people.
Farmer, big farmer. He's got those hands too, farmer's hands.
From Wandering. What a wonderful place name.
Yeah, he's had an incredible cricket career, Jack. I should try and get him on the pod, I think.
That's a good call. Good call.
He coached Australia. He for a while he was over there in Zimbabwe with the boys. The boys had some very interesting adventures there. He's coached here. He was, of course, subject of that famous protest by Alan Border. Alan Border refused to take the field on the fifth day. And who was the media manager? The team manager was McDonald, wasn't it? The journalists were going, "Where's Alan Border?" And McDonald, it was one of the great replies in the cricket, said, "He's got the shits." All the journalists assumed that he had a bad stomach. In fact, he was annoyed that his mate had been shot before a test had ended and before the series had ended. Because, in fact, the last test of that series was going to be in Perth, wasn't it? They were playing in Adelaide and had one more to go in Perth.
That's right. They included poor hapless Wayne Phillips for his only test match.
That's right. Good point.
Yeah. I think it was Paul Rifle. Paul Rifle was the long-suffering 12th man who had to go into the field because AB wouldn't. Because I think he was talking to Laurie Saul on the phone.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't a sit-in in the locked himself in the toilets of the dressing room. He was yelling and carrying on, and you can imagine how hostile those calls would have been. AB used to really work up a head of steam back in those days. There's another interesting stat on Steve Smith. Here's his test batting averages in different countries, Gideon. 141.5 in the West Indies, 63.75 in Sri Lanka, 59.7 in Australia, 56.5 in Pakistan, 55 in England, 52 in New Zealand, and 50.3 in India. That's above 50 in every country he plays in.
Bloody hell. Wow.
Isn't
That's really good. That is amazing.
What a cricketer. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's been huge in this series. And if he brings this one home, as it looks like, I suggest everyone in Sydney, get out there and sprinkle the path from Sydney Airport to his little bolt hole.
With rose petals?
With rose petals. Petals, I think, yeah. Get your gentlest donkey to give him a lift and bring out the children, put them in their Sunday best, maybe lift them up onto your shoulders so that they can see, because they should remember this moment. So it'll be like that time. No, I won't say that. He really has been impressive here, and he's led the team so well, and he's led from the front. Good on you, Steve. In fact, they've all played really well. I'm so impressed by this mob.
Yeah. And he's taken what his average as Australian captain to 70, which is just uncanny.
That's outrageous. I guess
so.
Exceptions to those who have played well, but at least 9.5, 10 of the players have contributed to this.
So does he captain Australia in the Champions Trophy, Pete? If Cummins doesn't make it, which is looking unlikely by the day,
has to, absolutely
has to, doesn't he? Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that question asked. I haven't really given it any thought. It just said, what else would you do? I mean, you go to Travis just for fun. Smith is such a great tactician. Always thinking about the game, and he gets, especially in these sorts of conditions, he understands the angles and the fields so well. While batting and while setting his own fields, he's creative. He pounces on the moments, as he demonstrated like when he brought Webster on the bowl. And what about that catch he took? Did you see?
Yes,
it?
yeah, I did. Yeah,
lovely,
Jaya. Yeah, brilliant.
It reminded me a little of the one that Marnus took in his kitchen. Do you remember that little?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, dropping off the kitchen counter.
Yeah, and it was very much one of those catches where the egg is rolling off the table, and you've got to get your hand under it and roll with it to protect yourself. It's a great catch. You sound.
And he also conjured the last wicket, Pete. He took Webster off, and he brought Kuhneman on to bowl the last over of the day. and he's caught Jaya Surya had slipped to go to 199 catches in Test cricket.
There were 5 balls to go in the over, and only 2 wickets remaining. When you let Australia bowl those 5 balls,
he was pretty knackered.
Maybe the umpires
by that stage.
Maybe they were scared to get 9 down and then have to go the extra half hour, and nobody really wanted that because you need some sleep.
I do.
I need to get out and get some dinner. And just quick note, I've been reunited with my microphone.
Well, that was I got to say that made my day, Pete, when I got that text message this morning with the picture of the contents of the bag and you posing for a photo with the tuk-tuk driver. I take it that is the tuk-tuk driver.
That is a tuk-tuk driver, a very sweet man. I'm just trying to remember his name right now. And
he's got to be a subscriber. Is he a subscriber to Cricket et al?
Well, he couldn't afford it. Maybe he's a very poor man. Because what was missing was more significant than I let on last night because it actually included those new binoculars.
Oh yeah, the ones that I bought you in Melbourne.
You bought me, and then you got really jealous about. And in fact, it was
because they're better than mine,
not you. Well, it was your partner that bought them for me, not you.
And rushed them to the MCG.
The binoculars, the microphone, the headphones, the sunscreen, and clothes. This guy he lives in a village down the road, down about 25, 30 minutes away. He'd come, when I got back last night, the security guard at our building said there'd been someone looking for me with some goods. I thought, that's him.
Wow.
Damn, I've missed him. So this morning I left a phone number with the people where I'm staying. And I got to the ground. I thought I wandered into the fort and get a coffee because I don't have much to do before playing anymore, having also lost my job. And I get a text message, and he said, "I'll come to the ground. I'll meet you. I've driven in again." And here was the contents of the text after we'd made the exchange. I am a very poor man, but I do not need other people's things. You are coming to Sri Lanka. We can find something for you, so we should respect you a lot. You own your stuff.
Oh,
what a nice man! This is a lovely country.
Did you give him a free subscription to Cricket et al, or at least a Cricket et al T-shirt?
I gave him something a bit more significant.
Good man.
Yes.
Good man. Did he find the pod machine as well, Pete?
Hey?
Did he find the pod machine as well, which you lost over summer?
Yeah, well, that just goes to show you the quality of Sri Lankans over Australia. I emptied my wallet into his hand. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was a fair bit because it's quite a valuable bag. Gear that he'd returned. And he later texted, he said, "I'm sorry that I took your money. I shouldn't have done it." What a sweet man. So thank you, Shanta. I hope you have a happy life down there.
Shanta, you're a legend. Thank you kindly.
Yeah, Cricket et al. Thanks you.
What else can we talk about, Pete?
Oh, you go to bed. I'm going to go down.
No.
Oh, really? I thought you were tired.
Well, Angelo Matthews batted really well this afternoon, I thought. Yeah, I thought
you've perked up, haven't you? You've perked up.
Yeah. I think he's that six he hit over cover to get to 50 was probably the shot of the day. That was a beautiful shot. Difficult to play on this pitch. Chaminda Mendes, disappointing. You'd been looking forward to seeing him play so much this series. He hasn't really made an impact on it, has he?
No. Kusal Mendes, pretty good there, that 48.
Yeah, he's played really well. He's picked up a very good double. He looks a significant figure at number 7, doesn't he? You know, he's a number 3 quality test batter who's batting at number 7, so he's hard to get rid of.
And Nathan Lyon picked up 3, as we would expect him to. He's always reliable. It was an interesting second spell by Mitchell Starc. Mitchell Starc only bowled 2 at the top of the innings, then came back in when the ball was old and hit it in his palm to try and, he was looking for that reverse. It wasn't really successful. So,
did he look a bit ginger, Pete? Well, did he look a bit ginger? I thought he was favouring one leg, maybe. Maybe he was a little bit unsure about the crease. I noticed that he took the hammer out to the crease. He wasn't completely happy with the footholds, and he is a bowler who needs reliable footholds.
Yeah, no, I think it was the latter. he actually took the hammer off the ground stuff and did it.
Yeah.
Went DIY.
Yeah.
Here, mate, I'll do it.
Mm.
Yeah. God, I mean, you watch him bowl here, and it's violent the way he lands, and he really throws everything into his bowling, because I guess he knows they're not going to be long spells, but it can't be great landing on these sort of hard pitches, even when they're sure they're hard. And this is his 7th Test match of the summer, Gideon.
Yep.
What a man. Yet again, Cricket et al. Salutes Mitchell Starc. I'd love to get him on the podcast one day. I wonder if he'd
I would too.
Yeah. Did you see Cooper Connolly back home?
Briefly, yes.
Yeah. Well, it was brief.
Yeah. I think he's going to regret that, actually, because I can't see him getting an opportunity again anytime soon. You'd want it to be a bit more memorable than that.
It was. Hey, look, it was very injudicious, that charge that he did. I guess the template had been set by Sam Constance, who got back for moment. It didn't look good. Charge. I reckon he actually took up at Mendes. Well, Mendes was at the top of the mark.
Yep.
He went so early. It hit 1-4 before. Well, look, hey, they won't mark him too hard for that. He will regret it. He will regret it because he's missed an opportunity to make some runs and make an impression in his first Test match. And, the last 3 players to make their debut have made impressions in their first Test match, haven't they, with the aforementioned Constant. Josh Inglis, who made the 100 there, and Beau Webster, who made the half century, and just continues to impress.
So here's a question: how do you slot Cameron Green in for the WTC final? Is it at Webster's expense?
I told you this. No, I told you this last week.
You're gonna, We're assuming that Labuschagne misses out.
Well, I'm not assuming it, but if Green is up to bat, I'm wondering there might be more return from batting Green than Marnus Labuschagne. I may not be right, but also, I mean, it's a double-barrel question. What do you do with Sam Constance?
Yeah.
Or was he a Bumrah specialist? Are we going to keep him in the cupboard until every time I play Bumrah?
No.
So you've got 2 batters. One, Green has shown his class across a more extended period than Constance, looking for a place in this side. Where are they going to go, mate? Does he? You're not going to get rid of Inglis. He's made 100 on debut, are you?
No.
Or are you?
Maybe you are. I don't know. Look,
it's a good headache.
I don't know, but I actually really like Webster's versatility. I like to see that he still bowls his off spin, which of course was originally his core skill. I think that that's an additional string to his bow. Potentially he can provide a second spinner or even a third with Travis Head. And it's quite an interesting combination, I think. You players like Gary Sobers, Mike Proctor, Tony Gregg, they've bowled seam up and they've also bowled off spin. There's no reason why you can't bowl off spin successfully.
Did you say Greg Chappell as well?
Yeah, he bowled. He did a bit of everything. Ian Botham even turned his hand to off spin now and again. Of course, our old friend Funky Miller did it. So so he does provide that opportunity to. He gives you an extra bowler essentially,
and he almost gives you an extra fielder.
Yeah,
you can put him in and he's 3 slips and a gully. That wins.
Well, put him together with Cameron Green.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's going to be having light towers on the ground, not around it.
Anyway, plenty of time to consider all these permutations and combinations. In the meantime, we've got a Test match to win. We'll be back tomorrow evening, Pete, won't we, for a roundup of the final day of this Test match.
God willing, yeah.
It's become quite intriguing. I think those last few wickets have tilted it well and truly in Australia's favour, but there were stages in that last session where I thought Australia were reaching for a wicket, and like a good team, they found it.
Yeah, they found 3 of them, in fact. I think we might get you to bed a little bit earlier tomorrow, kid, because I reckon the game might follow up before 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Still here at 5 o'clock. It's an interesting situation.
All right. Great to have you with us on Cricket Natal this evening. It's we look forward to your company tomorrow night, but in the meantime, it's goodbye from me.
And it's good night from him.